sends in $10. He says, "Yo, what up, Cooley and East? Question for the ladies: would they prefer a good man who doesn't let her do whatever she wants, or a bad guy who lets her do whatever she wants?"
I don't like that question.
I could make it better actually. Let's start with Jada. So let's word it a little different. Would you prefer a good man? A good man who doesn't let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, that just sounds
Yeah, that sounds weird. A good man, and then a bad man that lets you do
whatever you want. Either one, it ain't your man. I mean, it feels like...
That's a little tricky.
Yeah, a good man. I'm trying to think how I can reword it. A good man
that don't let you do whatever you want.
Ooh.
It's usually reverse.
Okay, I got it. I'll say this.
Okay.
Would you prefer a masculine man who doesn't let you do whatever you want, or a man that's not masculine that lets you do whatever you want?
I already know Lindsay's answer.
If I gotta pick, I guess I'll pick the masculine one.
That doesn't let you do whatever you want. Yeah. Okay. What about you?
Masculine.
Okay. What about you?
Masculine.
Skip Lindsay. We know.
Masculine. Because I'm running that other one right over.
What about you?
No, we know what you're going to pick.
You going to pick that beta.
I was thinking of not masculine only because, like, I'm not the type of person that's just going to do what I want to people anyway. Like, I have a good heart, so everything I do is intentional. I'm not going to hurt your feelings on purpose. You're not going to tell me what I can and can't do, though.
Wait, so what guy? You said the not masculine guy or the masculine?
The not masculine guy.
Oh.
She want to accept.
That's god dang. What about you?
Masculine.
Masculine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some are embarrassing sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Good one, bro. Appreciate the support too. We got Holiday Tones and $2. Ease, you better get that salad, family. That's 2 shows.
Holiday Toast, they put me on blast.
That is 2 shows, bro. We got Vaughn BR Righteous sends in $10. Sorry for small tip. I'm a brokey. But no, it's not any tip is fine, man. You're not a brokey. Right. He says, but my question is, how can a woman get jealous of a man if he is going to always smash? How does a man's sexual fidelity matter so much? Okay. Let's start with Jada. Let's keep going this way. So I'll repeat it again. He says, how can, pretty much why do women get jealous of a man if he's going to always smash? Let's just go with the second question. Yeah. So his question is, why does a man's sexual fidelity matter so much?
Or does it even matter to you guys at all?
I mean, because it seems what sucks about being in a relationship is kind of like, it's very clear that our feelings are not as justified. I mean, as important as obviously the man's feelings, because obviously he's the leader of the relationship. But the same way you feel pain when your woman betrays you or hurts you, we feel the same way, but we feel it more because when we are a good woman to a man. So what were we going to say?
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
So wait, repeat the question one more time.
Sorry. So he's pretty much saying, why does a man's sexual fidelity matter so much to women?
I mean, I feel like it matters just as much as it would matter for the man. It's hurtful, it's disrespectful, and it's kind of like, okay, if I'm supposed to be the woman that takes care of you, or we have a partnership and you're my leader, sometimes you feel like, all right, what am I doing wrong? And honestly, like, I know people probably feel like men should have multiple women, but in the Bible, it's not what people think. It's not people supposed to have multiple women. That's why God made us, Adam and Eve. And then people started having multiple women because their children worked in the fields. Their children helped to provide for the family, help the crops, help the sheep, herd, all those things. But that wasn't how God intended it for it to be. So again, it's supposed to be man and woman. So that's my explanation.
Okay, what do you say to, I think it's 1.8 billion Muslims? They don't believe in that. What do you say to them?
I'm talking about the Bible, the Christian Bible that I believe in and that I read and that I feel is to be true.
I read
That's
the same
just
Bible.
my perspective. That's how I feel. And when my relationship with God, That's just what I believe. So what they believe in,
Yeah.
that's not my business at all.
Got
And on
you.
top of that, I don't believe in all of the things. I mean, I don't believe in the way they operate in all ways as well. So that's just my perspective.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go with you. Why does a man's sexual fidelity matter so much to women?
Excuse me, but I don't really know what fidelity means.
Oh, that's just like him only having sex with you and no one else.
And
Like, say
the
if you're
question is-
married to a man, the question is, why does a man's... It's not a weird question, but I see where you're getting with it. I could have just answered this one, but you wanted it for the ladies. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just answer this one, bro, because it's gonna be pointless to go around, because we know it matters to them, bro. They are more emotional than men. It matters, bro. They only want you to have sex with them. One, it matters, bro. Two, one, like she was saying, from a Christian belief, one man and one woman, you got to think about it. That's a nuclear family. That's the backbone of society. So that in the Old Testament, it was different, but in the New Testament, that's when things kind of changed around. Jesus was like, nah, just one. He didn't say it specifically, though. That's why the Islam, I asked her about that. That's why they tend to, make that argument. But yeah, man, it matters to women because they're more emotional and they feel more negative emotions. They're more neurotic than men are. So since they feel more negative emotions, think about it. You don't got to do anything wrong, bro. You just wake up in the morning. They wake up with an attitude sometimes. So life matters to them. So of course, sexual fidelity matters, my nigga. So yeah, let's move along to the next question.
Well, in that sense, I do want to add that,
Sure.
our body goes through many different changes. So sometimes we really can't help our hormones and the chemical imbalance that's going on in our body. So it's not intentional. It's just that is how our body has to operate in order to grow a life inside of us. So I'm not intentionally getting an attitude. It's just that I can't help the fact that my period is coming and I want to be a bitch and I want you up under me and I don't want anybody else laying with you because I might get a case.
Well, that's the thing, then, right? So if men, I'm glad that you said that, because if men has to excuse women because they go through a biological clock because they're emotional and they get their period at certain times, so it's probable that they're going to wake up with an attitude, right? What can you say about the man's biology? Because he has 17 times more testosterone than a woman. So he's horny more than a woman. So he wants variety more than what a woman will look for variety for. A woman wants the top man and one man, preferably. She can only bring one kid full term a year. A man, he can impregnate 1,000 chicks in a year if he wanted to. So with that being said, women look for quality, men look for quantity, and that's our biological, ways. That's our natural proclivity. So it seems that women want men to excuse them for their biological proclivities, right? Biological tendencies, having an attitude, being emotional, but y'all won't excuse men for our biological proclivities, which wants in quantity, which means that, it's going to be a problem with our sexual fidelity.
So that's where you're kind of wrong. It all goes back to discipline. And it all goes back to, because I want to have sex just as much as a man wants to have sex. It's called discipline, it's called respect, and it's called being loyal to your partner. I look at men when I go outside and I'm like, damn, he look good. Damn, look at his muscles. Damn, look at that motherfucker. He is shining. I want to listen. We feel the same way.
You think it's actually the same?
It is actually the same.
Okay.
That's why there are so many hoes out there. That's why there is so many people that are turning into city girls. So the fact that you guys want to deny the fact that we are just as horny as you, but you guys don't have the discipline and the respect to not give into that feeling, that is what the problem is. So not only do we have those chemical imbalances going on in our body, but we also have the urge to go seek another man when our man is not making us feel emotionally supported or not being respectful of the fact that we don't have any say-so in our chemical imbalance. So, and not only that, yes, women go outside and our man may not be he may not have everything that we would like in our man. And we see other men driving off in all these beautiful cars and having wonderful careers and doing more for their woman and taking taking them on vacations and taking them on these nice trips and taking care of the kids and strolling the kids around and being so present in their relationships. But what do? We go back home to that man and we rub his head and we feed his ego and we stroke it and we stroke it and we stroke it. And so at one point we just can't take it no more. So with all that being said, it's all discipline. So men always make excuses for not having that discipline.
Okay. Well, I disagree with your presupposition. So
okay.
The presupposition is that men and women experience the same horniness or the same attraction for the opposite sex the same, right? What would you have then if that's your presupposition that you're saying that it's equal? So then explain to me why over 90% of the consumer base of pornography are men. Explain why.
I just did. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Because we got to talk about the differences. You're saying that's the same, but I'm saying that is different. So I'm going to give stats instead of my opinion. So explain why over 90% of the consumer base that watches porn are men. Also explain why OnlyFans and all of the sex industry is the consumer base is men, right? So men pay for sexuality. Women don't pay for sexuality like men do. So just by the stats of what men are actually paying their money for, wouldn't you say that the man has a higher sexual urge than a woman does?
I'm about to tell you right now, because clearly you were able to do some research. And I don't like nobody just throwing out stats. I don't play that.
It's somewhere between.
I know it's somewhere. You see how we get real. You see, you see what I'm saying? I made a good point. He didn't want to give me mine, but yeah, we going. So 66% of men and 39% of women. So we just going, and that's just what they calculate.
What?
And porn. That's
porn. But I'm talking about the
consuming it.
Okay, but just know that the stats are
entire
not correct ever because they ain't asked me. They ain't asked you. They ain't asked you. They ain't asked you. Are you part of the stat?
I'm speaking about the entire. That was porn. I was speaking about the entire sex industry. So that's OnlyFans. That's porn. That's all of the sex sites, right?
Right.
So I'm saying that if you Google that stat, is much higher than women are much lower. It's more like a 90-10 ratio. So I'm saying that if men, because you're saying that. Your presupposition is, well, no, because you got to think about where this all started. So let's circle back and get to where we at. You're saying that men, remember, women are more emotional. So that's why, since we have this biological urge just to be emotional, men should excuse it. I'm saying that men have a biological urge of quantity of wanting a lot of women, but y'all don't excuse that because it was the chat question. You said your answer to was, well, that's not correct because I think that men and women are just as horny for one another. They have the same sexual, tendencies towards one another. It's just that you said that women just tend to have more discipline. And I'm disagreeing with that. I'm saying that, well, no, women don't have more discipline. We have 17 times more testosterone than you. This is why we're more horny. Men get turned on like a light switch. Women get turned on like a dial knob. It's a slow process. I can sleep with all of you and not like you today. You wouldn't sleep with me, him, or the guy in the back. I can have 4 wives and love them all the same. You can't have 2 men and love them the same. You can only have 1 man. You are sold for 1 man. Only 1 man can be your master. You can only serve 1 master because sex is the most ultimate form of submission for a woman. When I have sex with a woman, I dominate that woman. I don't submit to that woman. So therefore, I can dominate a multitude of women because I'm not emotionally tied to all of these women. Therefore, it proves my point that we're not more emotionally involved. We're more horny than women. You're not horny because you're picky. Oh, this guy has to qualify. The girl disqualify him because he was 5'8". Do we have a height preference? No, we ain't got no height preference. If a dude don't got no options, he don't even got a weight preference. He'll smash a 500-pound wildebeest. So my point is that, no, the point is that women, you want a guy to excuse you for your emotional imbalances because you get your period every month, and we do excuse you for that, but that's because of your biology, and that's okay. We should excuse you. But the chat question was just like, well, why aren't you excusing men? Because we have a biological urge to have sex with a lot of women, but we excuse you, but you don't excuse us. So that's what the disagreement is. Make sense?
Men want to be excused, they can be excused by all means.
Yeah, but,
that's okay.
but I'm just saying that your point
No, I
was that
understand
the
where you
sexuality
coming-
was the same.
Right. No, but I'm telling you what me and my homegirls talking about. But if you got the answer, you got it. And we're going to continue to rock on how we rock on as women. You can rock on how you rock on as men.
Well, what's your thoughts on that? Like,
I
do you
just
think
told you.
that? No, I'm saying like with
Women be horny.
yeah, but with that
We not
information,
buying porn. We
Yeah, I'm not
we
buying
don't
porn.
spend our own money on most things.
Y'all don't need to buy porn
Yeah.
because you guys have guys hitting on you 24/7. That can
Right.
get dick easy.
and not only that, you don't have the urge to buy porn. Like guys,
That's what you think.
No, well, the thing is that
It's a
guys
small percentage.
would have sex with women and didn't even masturbate after, and then watch some porn after. Most guys is just we're horny creatures, right? So, anyways, but does that make sense of what I'm saying?
It makes sense,
All right,
but I'm
gotcha.
saying that you got to understand that everything you say is not going to be 100% accurate. So there is like a
Well, what
lot
part
of wiggle
wasn't
room
accurate?
there. It's a lot of wiggle room. I mean, I ain't going to tell you. I can't expect you to. I'm not a man, so a lot of the stuff you said made sense. And I feel if I was
Okay.
a man, I would comprehend where you're coming from. I'm not a man, so I can't say anything about how you feel. I'm just telling you how I feel and what I experience and what most of the women that I talk to, we experience and what we talk about, things that we would never even converse about when we were
Yeah.
around other men. So I'm just saying that's my point of view, but a lot of things you said were accurate and they made sense. You're hornier, you're going to, go the extra mile, or you don't understand why women don't give you that,
And once again, I'm not saying that it should be like this. We're just speaking about how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not speaking about how it should be. I think that, men should practice sexual fidelity and they should have some sexual temperance at least. They shouldn't just be sleeping around with any and everything.
Right.
I damn
Right?
sure don't.
But the point is that like we get turned on differently. Men are more hornier than women. There's so many stats out there that shows it. So it's like, yeah. But anyways, good question, Chad.
I have a question.
Sure. What's up?
Do you think a man's a way that a man carries himself sexually has to do anything with his maturity or mentality?
100%.
Do you think that
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like
Give me an
some
ex-
men that I have met do have the control and they do have the mindset to want to focus on one girl, not want to share around. They can be horny or whatever, but they still have that self-control. I have met men like that.
Yeah, I'll say.
At least what they
what you was gonna say, East? Yeah, sorry.
I wanted to further go into detail, but I guess to an extent, because you got guys that will literally just anything, and then you got guys that are picky that won't. You know what I'm saying? So I know both sides of the coin. Where you have guys where they'll take anything that throws out.
But the guy's mindset, how he thinks about it. Would you say this is what I observed, and I feel like this is what I believe, but I feel like men who are attractive that get a lot of girls and have a lot of power, they feel like they can, do what they want, be more sexual. But
What do you mean do what they want? Like in terms of what? Like
I got you.
sexually.
So just
You know
to
what I
explain
mean?
it, I'll explain it
what
briefly.
you were saying about
Yeah.
how they don't want to attach emotionally, but some men feel free to go around and do their thing, when I personally believe that Adam and Eve it should be
Let me
one
ask you a
thing.
question, Brie.
Yeah.
So when did you start receiving male attention when did you start receiving attention from the opposite sex? How old were you? Because you're 19 now, so when did that start for you? You were actually, when did it, not just attention, but when was it maybe overwhelming? It's all of these guys is looking at me, what's going on?
So when I was my original size and I didn't lose weight,
Yeah.
I do honestly think that I had more guy friends, but they were friends. And it was more I feel like my personality was more fun.
I'm talking
and
about attention. When did you start
When did I-
receiving sexual attention from
oh,
guys?
sexual attention.
like she look good. Like I like her type of thing.
15, 16?
15, 16,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that sexual attention you started receiving from men, it was it was direct. You knew this guy, he most likely likes me.
Yeah.
This guy, he most like.
Yeah.
So you knew from a young age that, you had value because the opposite sex liked you. And not just one guy, but multiple guys and random guys.
But I feel like
Me and him, I'm going to explain the differences to you. Women live a different life than men live, right? So you live life on easy mode when it comes to attracting the opposite sex. Me and him, we didn't experience that. right? We have to earn our value. You were born with your sexual value, right? So this is why when men actually earn their sexual value, it takes time. We have to be disciplined and be in the gym and work out and be, you know,
Just
competent to a degree to, you know, make money and do a whole lot of things. We have to achieve higher goals. And when we reach a level, we get more attention from the opposite sex. So when we have options, how can you, right, the person that was born with your sexual value, right, how can you tell a man to have maybe some sexual temperance when you were born with your sexual value and the guy had to earn his sexual value? Like, you're living an entirely different life than that guy. So I'm saying that men are basically only as faithful as their options, generally speaking. So the less, like, you'll say like, oh, this guy, he seems like he has a lot of discipline. Yeah, well, he probably has no options. He has no choice but to be disciplined because he can't get no poon. Make sense?
Yeah.
But once the nigga gets some options, then that's when you'll see, like, is he really disciplined? And it's much, much harder for a man to. Martin Luther King wasn't disciplined.
Is any man disciplined when you really think about it? I mean, they say that there's some faithful men out there, but
He had no discipline. But anyways, good question. If you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.